这是为了路易莎。
Now, I'm certain you read the title. English sub instead of English dub.
We have seen so many instances of localizers disrespecting source material to the point where they completely butcher a product and then inevitably push people away. And unfortunately, one of those individuals is Katrina Translator, somebody who has been extremely vocal in this space and somebody who has time and time again bragged about their terrible work. And now we're finding out that this infamous localizer is actually a director now for a major Japanese video game company.
I don't know if any anime companies or anime studios are gonna see this video, but by some miracle you see this video, do not hire this woman, or better yet, to all viewers, if you want to localize it, don't use the translation, okay? I recommend you use English sub rather than English dub, okay? All my viewers who are from the US, use English sub. I'm 100% certain that the English sub is better translated, which is why before I play Lost Soul Aside, I saw reviews in Steam saying that the English voice acting, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh yeah, it's not synced according to some reviews. I don't know, maybe there was and some people say that, well, the English line is being used by AI. Not sure about that one.
I talk a lot about localization problems on this channel because I want a creative's initial intentions to be brought to different audiences. Otherwise, why are you going to translate it if you're not going to do so faithfully and respectfully? And these people feel like they know what is best. And when something bothers them, they will alter it. I mean, Katrina here has admitted multiple times that because a piece of dialogue or a piece of information in a game was something that they thought could upset Western audiences and something that people could take offense to, they've changed it, which is totally unacceptable, at least in my opinion. And now we're finding out that this person is now a director at a major Japanese video game company. Now, we do not know exactly which one, though there is a little bit of speculation. But
honestly, for me, is the reason why if you see a gameplay footage of Lost Soul Aside that I put in this video, you can see that I put a Chinese dub, but I put an English sub because I knew when people say that the English voice acting in Lost Soul Aside was out of sync or something, I decided to not use it. I decided to use mainly besides English, okay? Because when I use Chinese language, it looks good. And yes, I know a bit Mandarin. 称我的密令要空中下去做到所有打击。
Western Localizer proudly brags about butchering Sentai Filmworks' English localization of 2.5-dimensional seduction. Of course, you know exactly who this is. So excited to be working on this one as an ex-competitive cosplayer who's still very much involved with the current competitive cosplay scene. It's so much fun getting to work on a series that takes sexy cosplay seriously now. I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news. I'm not trying to be that really mean person, but there's only a couple types of characters that this person could cosplay, and I don't necessarily know if any of those would be described as sexy. Regardless, though, the premiere of their work on 2.5-dimensional seduction soon drew a wave of outrage from audiences, their frustrations peaking due to yet another being denied another faithful translation of a Japanese work. Of course, there's multiple different things here. Originally, as seen in the manga's 7th chapter, in response to an inquiry, a character proceeds to essentially let his fandom get the best of him and gush about how much he loves one of these characters. As you can see, we would be here all day if I was reading them, but in this new localization, the explanation is not only far shorter in length, but also far more crude in its content, in effect replacing the joke of it's genuinely funny because he's so passionate about his interests with one whose premise is essentially it's cringe funny because he's being unnecessarily over dramatic and creepy, which of course is not what fans wanted. This same Western localizer bragged about deliberately botching High Dive's English subtitles for My Life as Inuki-san's Dog. Not shocking there. Sentai Filmworks replaces the term lolicon with problematic age gap in their localization of Dark Gathering anime. So we are talking about a slew of issues here. And
this is the reason why many people, I think, and every anime creators in Japan are now using AI now when it comes to translation. I mean, there's no doubt about it. If I were either a game developer or anything, when it comes to say translation or anything, if I seen what the localizer are using, then the only option I have is AI. Yes, there will be some correction that need to be done, but at least it's better than localization like this one's gonna happen. So to all Japanese anime companies and anime creators, don't use localization. Watch this video. Watch Veradoc's video. This kind of thing, localization is not helping your creator, or in this case, your anime creation any better, okay? They are bastardizing it.
Now, not only are Japanese fans fighting back, but Western anime fans in video gamers are fighting back as well. So Manga Lawyer had posted Big Brother Katrina, the famous localizer who inserted a non-binary character in 13 Sentinels from Vanillaware, is now the director of localization for a major Japanese video game company. They had posted, "I'm moving to Tokyo. After 3 years at Deluxe, I've accepted an offer at a major video game company as a localization director. I can't wait to dive back into Game Loc and start the next chapter of my life in Japan." Now, I personally believe that it is Atlas. That is one of the major companies they have been working with on several projects actually over the past couple of years. So I believe that is where this person has gone. There's no confirmation of that. That is just my opinion. That is just my take, judging by the work that they've done recently. But some advanced Japanese learners here already know what Katrina did. But for newcomers, the character is just a cross-dresser. Something Sega could be the next company. That also is a possibility. Remember, Japanese companies now make games for global audiences, so they self-censor Japanese script and text too. On the left is English. It says, "Let's say some binaries work for me and others don't. This lets me hide the fact that I'm even alive." To the Japanese, which is, "This is more convenient for me. It lets me keep it a secret that I'm alive." So very different contexts here, very different words here and sentences and structures. And it is so disheartening to see this happen, because this is somebody who, yes, does censor based on their own opinions. And that means that this Japanese company is basically going to just have this person self-censor everything, and we are going to get watered down.
Which is why, folks, if any of you are watching, again, like I said, I recommend English sub, okay? Not English dub, okay? Because since the original version and the translated version is different, just use the sub, okay? The English sub. I mean, there are some people who are using AI to use in subtitles, which that's what I'm hoping for. Yes, that's what I'm hoping for. Look, it's similar with a book. This is called disrespecting a source material. Regardless of what you want to say, this is not respecting it, okay? Well, it's a good thing Japanese audience and Western audience is fighting back. No way. We're not gonna let that slide.
It's just really so heartbreaking to me, because the reason why so many people started looking at Japanese entertainment, South Korean entertainment, even Chinese entertainment, is that it was new, it was fresh, it was unique, and they weren't afraid to take risks. And that's something we don't see happening a lot in the Western video game industry.
Black Myth Wukong and Stellar Blade was the two games that kick off. Because of them, everyone is now turning to the East. Well, besides, of course, the indie and AA, every gamers will always turn to the alternatives such as AA, indie, and games made in the East such as Japan, South Korea, and China. Yes, there's still some that need to be fixed, such as performance issues, okay, like Lost Soul Aside. There were lags, to be honest. I tried it. I'm almost finished. It's more likely the open world. There were times where it lags a bit because I think it's the combat. I don't know.
Especially from these AAA companies. That's why we look to indies. That's why we look to AA's. That's why we look to these other regions. And the fact that now they're just trying to follow in the AAA companies' footsteps, and they want to appeal to global audiences, is really just such a major red flag that now every single time a game like this comes out, we're going to have to question who was behind it, what were their intentions, is this faithfully and respectfully adapted? And that really isn't going to be the case. When will we find out who this person now works for? I'm not sure. I haven't been able to find like any solid information on who actually hired them, though. I mean, one would assume it's one of these companies they've worked with in the past, like Sega or Atlas, and that's just really sad to me, and clearly a lot of other people. Makes you wonder if any of these studios do any research and background on who they're hiring. Probably not. They probably just assume that if this person is in the industry and they are getting hired for different projects pretty consistently, that they're a-okay to work with. Which company hired her? her, to avoid buying any of their games? Have these Japanese companies not been paying attention to the AAA industry in the West? It's like they are trying to fail. And yeah, it is really sad to see this happening because I want these companies to thrive. I want
Me
entertainment
too.
to be alive and successful, and I want developers to make money, and I want to be able to purchase any game where a teaser or a trailer looks cool, but that's just not the world that we are living in at this point in time. These types of people need to stop being hired because they are only damaging the video game industry, and these companies really need to put their foot down and say, listen, if you're going to work for us, you need to leave your fucking activism at the door, and that's not what is happening.
Well, the question is, what will it take for these kind of people who work in the localizer industry to stop, put their activists at home? What will it take? This is the reason why it is better for people to just listen to English sub rather than English dub. And I know many of my European viewers, you want to hear English dub, or in this case English sub, because you probably want to learn English. But I recommend to all viewers, it doesn't matter where you're from, America, Canada, or even United Kingdom, it is best use English sub, okay? English sub at least can give you a better understanding what the translation means. Tell me something, all my viewers, I know when it comes to this translation, would you prefer English dub or English sub? Say in the comments. Oh, and by the way, in case you are wondering about the names above me, right here, those are actually my platform. I got PC, PS5, DuckStation, or in this case PS1 emulator, PS2 emulator, PCX or PCSX2, and PSP emulator. I'm not gonna say the word, it's too long, and PS3 emulator, just in case if you guys are wondering. Like I said to all anime creators, if you have to use AI for translation, go for it. Yes, there will be some correction issues, but it is much better than hiring localization, okay? 100%.
热身结束。给你点颜色瞧瞧。亲你。 我们需要恢复一下。这是为了路易莎。